And one more thing before about email, because we kind of fuse this into how to battle the war on email. For Jenny, one of the single most helpful strategies I think to deal with email is I'm going to ask you to rebrand your inbox. So instead of your inbox, what I want you to call it is new work. Let's call it what it is. Okay, new work. So I think it just it's just logical that if you're going to check your inbox at 5:45 p.m. and you're planning to leave at 6, well, you have just decided to take on a lot of new work 15 minutes before your supposed departure time. You're probably not going to be departing at that time. So when you're ready for new work, check your inbox. Anybody want to guess how many times a day I check my inbox? Once. Yeah, one time a day, usually around 2 in the afternoon, 3 o'clock. Actually, sometimes I'll do content all morning. I'll come into the office. I'll usually have a lunch meeting. I'll go straight from content development to like 12:31, a lunch meeting. I get in around 2:30. What I try to do is get 6 things done that are on my most important list before I even go to email. That's a great general rule. Try to get 6 of your most important things done before you even check email. It feels good and you get them done. And so often I don't even check my email till 4. So I'm checking my email. Now I don't recommend checking it too late. That's backfired on me. There are times where I get those 6 things done. Now it's 5 and I check email and I'm there till 7:30 because there's so many important things that are in my email. So you gotta kind of moderate your email. Don't let it, like if you know there's going to be a lot you got to respond to, you want to save it till too late. So that's what works for me. Usually if I can check around 3 or 3:30, it's even better, because then I'm not so stressed that I'm going to get out of the office by 6:30 and still get all the important things done that are in there. So I'm not saying email should just be an hour. I'm just saying call it what it is. It's new work. Take the new work. If you can take the new work, put it into a folder, whatever you call that folder, that signals this is important for you, this is aligned with your mission, with your vision, and find a way to not give yourself that new work just before you want to leave, because you probably won't leave. Okay, so the war on email, this very controversial strategy. Lauren?
Well, it all sounds really nice. But, and I don't know how it is for others, but I live in a culture 24 hours a day where it's a culture, an email culture. And the expectation is that we're there on the other side. I don't know, my colleagues at WWF.
We all carry these.
Yeah. Sure. Everyone has BlackBerries, the whole culture revolves around being responsive and being on the other end. And you check an email once a day? No.
So if you couldn't check email once a day, instead of checking it, like 100 times a day, is there a way that you could, or however many you are, is there a way that you could reduce it?
I don't know how it is for the rest of you. There are so many different time zones on 12 different time zones. So when you're just getting in the office, our China program, or Europe program, during the middle of the day, or I don't know what to do.
Well, this is a tough thing because some of you are senior leaders, but not the executive director, and so your executive director will probably be mad at me for what I'm about to suggest. But did anyone read The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho?
Yeah, it's a great book.
Great book. Okay, you remember that how the sheep herder, or is it goat herder? Yeah, he wanted to go in search of his vision, but he was worried about his sheep. But that he realized that others would take care of the sheep. These are trade-offs you got to ask yourself. For you to be on an electronic leash 24 hours a day, is that part of your vision? Is it worth it? And if you're working in a culture where that's the expectation, then you have to ask yourself, 1, are there ways to change that culture? Or 2, is that the way that it should be? And then I accept it. And if it is, then accept it and embrace it. But it doesn't have to be that way. And I think it's all about expectations. If others expect you'll always be there, they'll always ping you and expect you to reply. But if you set parameters, and it's a lot harder in a large organization. We have to acknowledge that. It's a lot harder when you're fighting an uphill battle in a culture like that. But there are little ways that you can maneuver to do that. Well, it's interesting. As I was coming in to teach this session on the metro this morning, this woman is like furiously sending off messages, and I'm sitting there like this, and it's like the power outage, and this document didn't get in time because their web server's down, and sorry, should admit that, but anyway, that's what she's doing, and I was thinking like, BlackBerries and the idea of like email on the go. Well, this is a new technology, just from, what is it, 10, 15 years, less. Let's think about this for a moment. Technology should be used for us to pursue our vision, what we're trying to accomplish in our lives. It shouldn't be the other way around, that we're reacting to technology and adopting new behaviors because of the technology. Otherwise, we would just be sitting at the television all day unless people had learned how to manage it. So, what I would suggest is that, or propose, is that, when I see somebody on the metro using their BlackBerry, I'm not going to judge and go, that's wrong and you shouldn't use your BlackBerry on the metro. But I would say, if we've advanced as a society, shouldn't technology, which enables us to be more efficient, right? That means we can do more in less time. Think about the time it took to send a letter. For example, after this program, we want to send all you guys a survey to ask you how it went. I'm not writing a letter and then getting help typing it, putting 50 letters into envelopes and stamps and mailing them and waiting for your replies. I can get the whole thing done in an hour. Isn't that amazing? And all of you will have it in your inbox. All right, so my question is, if technology is enabling us...
In our new work box.
What's that?
In our new
Your new work box. Oh, thank you. Good man, good man. So, in your new work box...
I'll probably delete it.
Yeah, all right. So I've given you new work, and I've given Jim something to delete. You were waiting for that. I knew it was coming. So if I can do that so quickly, and technology's enabled us to get so much work done in so much less time. So the same amount of work, what used to take 5 hours now takes an hour. Well, shouldn't then we have more leisure time? Because we are able to get work done so much more quickly. Like instead of that 5 hours, what happened to that extra 4 hours? Instead of my spending 5 hours getting you guys the survey, now it takes an hour. And that's the thing, if your BlackBerry is enabling you to get stuff done on the go, to have more leisure time, so that you get home and you can relax and be with your family, go do things with friends, well, hey man, sounds like a great tool. Instead of sitting there on the metro, this woman got stuff done in 10 or 15 minutes to save 10 or 15 minutes at home to be with her husband. But that's not what usually happens. So then we got to wonder, what is technology leading us towards? So if Lauren's available 16 hours a day, then the bar has been raised and the expectations are that Lauren's available 16 hours a day. And that's what happens in, exactly, and then we become like a mouse being chased by a cat of rising expectations. And it's always going up and up and up. Sean, just call it what it is. I'm not saying it's wrong or it's right. It's just what it is. Sean?
I have a slightly different take. I feel this entire discussion, when people talk about email, not this discussion, but in general, is extremely selfish and self-indulgent. I shut off my email so I don't have to hear from you. We all send emails too. You shut off your email, you don't get the response that you want back. And we also have to be conscious of the emails that we're sending out ourselves, and not just we're receivers and we have nothing to give.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a two-way street. And everybody that hates email, it's always poor me, and never looking at what they're doing to actually create the situation. So I just want to put
Interesting.
in everybody's mind.
Well, let me ask you this. What if right now 4 people went over into the corner of the room and just started dancing? Would you feel obliged to go dance with them?
No.
Well, what's happening now is that those 4 people are 35 people, and there's only a few people that aren't in the dance. But it's a question like, that's what it is. It's this dance of rapid fire, quick communication, and if you want to dance, by all means.